Well, today's episode, we're going to be reviewing night one of the NWA's Crockett Cup. So, we're going to see mostly the second round matches, basically. The first round matches took place at the kickoff shows. Basically, I didn't want to waste too much on that. So, we just go from what we do know. And we do have some certain special matches that also took place. And after that, as you know, we have ChocoPro 314 features three matches. The Ectarts are in the main event. That's going to be a lot of fun to take a look at. And then finally, we have the latest New Japan show, Dominion. We're going to see, of course, the IWGP World Heavyweight title defended. This is Sonata's second defense, but he faces against Yota Tsuji, who we haven't seen since he went on excursion, and now he's back making his mark. And we got the IWGP Junior Heavyweight title on the line. The Never Openweight and the Never Openweight six-man tag team titles are also on the line, and various others. And then, of course, we got some news updates to tell what's been going on in the world of pro wrestling, such as which matches are being booked, who's going to be involved, the whole enchilada. So, let's get ready for another episode of the Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Welcome, everybody, to the Deleted Wrestle Zone, all things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Impact Wrestling, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J Rod here. So, let's begin with night one of Crockett Cup by the NWA. This took place recently on the 3rd of June. Now, those who are new to the channel don't know what the Crockett Cup is. I'll explain it. This is like an annual tournament that the NWA holds almost every year, where they get the best tag teams in the world to participate. Not only the homegrown tag teams within NWA, but anywhere in the from any promotion. We have wrestlers from AAA. No, they don't have New Japan guys. I wish they could, but they can't. Certain ones we can do. So that's the whole thing. And the winners of this tournament will get a future tag team opportunity for the NWA World Tag Team titles. Now, there's two tag team champions within in the NWA. We got of course, the NWA World Tag Team Champions, La Rebellion involved, and also the country gentlemen who are the current United States tag team champions. So let's get started from the beginning on this one. So now I said this is all second round matches. First team we have the Outrunners, Truth Magnum and Turbo Floyd. They take on Blunt Force Trauma, Damage and Carnage. Now, you probably can guess this match was definitely all about the carnage and destruction that Blunt Force Trauma were about to do. Exactly. The Outlanders even tried to play a little muscle game with them, but that wasn't going to work. However, uh, as Joe Galley said, they were outrun or something like that um, when they did a double team flatliner on what's his name on Magnum, and it was done right from there. So they're out. Blunt Force Trauma moves on to the next round. Now, continuing on with the second round matches, we have the Immortals, consistent of Odison and Kratos, who just recently formed a team. They face off against the current United States Tag Team Champions, the Country Gentleman, AJ Kazana, and his cousin Anthony Andrews. So this was a lot of good fun, but as well. But one thing I did not anticipate is how well Kratos and Odison did work together. This is the first time they actually face off, they actually team up, and of course they pulled off in a really good win when Kratos pinned Andrews and 1, 2, 3. However, even if the Immortals do not win the Crockett Cup, they do have a opportunity for the United States Tag Team titles. Since they pinned Andrews, the one half of the country gentlemen, they get an opportunity for the United States Tag Team titles. So they could put that in their back pocket if they don't get what they if they don't make it to the final. So that is something that probably we'll consider. So we'll see how that goes on. Now, our next match, we jump off the tournament for a little bit. We go with two wrestlers. Whoever walks away for this one will be part of a scramble match to determine the number one contender for the NWA World Junior Heavyweight Championship. We have Alex Taylor along with Danny Deals taking on Joe Alonzo along with Jamie Stanley. Now, we know these two men have challenged for the junior heavyweight title before, but they both came up short. But however, in this case, there were some moments where you saw that maybe Alex Taylor might have hurt himself on the shoulder, but Alonzo took advantage of it in order to ensure he picked up the win. He did like the armbar. I forgot what they mentioned it from it, but it forced Alex Taylor to tap out. But hopefully he gets better. Hopefully he's okay by the time. Now we do get a little bit of interview with a legend who's been in the tag team game. We're talking about Bobby Fulton. As soon as that happens, they saw a surprise visit from the Mortons, of course, Kerry Morton and his dad, legendary Ricky Morton. So it was kind of interesting that happened. But however, their opponents in the Crockett Cup is none other than the Vipers, Aries and Tosin. Now I did not expect that one, but it was pretty good. So these guys represent AAA. But one thing that it was crazy is, of course, how Kerry Morton was about to cross the line by using the belt on Aries. Ricky Morton even tried to stop the son, but one thing led to another. Ricky whacked Aries with the belt, allowing for Kerry Morton to pick up the win, and boom, it was done. We did not expect it, so this is where we see now Ricky Morton might have turned heel on this one. So we know that he never won the Crockett Cup, so maybe he's trying to find ways to get to that. But we'll see that on night 2. Excuse me. Oh. All right. Now we're back to the Crockett Cup. We have two more. We got another match for that. We have the brothers of Funstration, Yabo and Rufo. Yeah, if you guys don't like clowns, switch the channel on that one. They face off against Red Titus and Tom Latimer. Now, these two clowns are trying to pull tricks in order to hope they think they could win. But I thought this match was almost would have fallen to Red Titus and Tom Latimer. But no, those dang clowns got away with it. So, can't believe that. So anyway, everything went well for that, but we'll see. But however, here comes Kyle Davis to do an interview with the clowns, but they get nothing out of it. Then here comes Camille, who she knows she'll cheer up for her husband Tom Latimer, current NWA World Television Champion. So that's all. But however, as you know, the NWA are in North Carolina, which is also the home state of Camille. So she's very happy to be there. Not to mention, she did tell people to stay tuned for the following day, since she will be, in fact, defending the Burke against Natalia Markova. Now, our last match, part of the second round matches of the Crockett Cup, we have Savages, Bulletproof Troop, and Jack Stain. They take on Octagon Jr. and Mysticis Jr. Now, you probably thought there is no way that these two guys were going to walk out of this round, but apparently they used their high-flying skills to the test, despite how big Dane and Troop is. But of course, they were able to overcome that match by pinning Troop, and it was done right from there. So it was over just like that. So I have to say night 1 is okay. Now, I haven't seen night 2. I will see night 2 as soon as possible on the next episode, but we'll see about that. But right now, let's move on with ChocoPro. Okie dokie. So let's move on with ChocoPro 314. Now, there was some interesting announcements that were announced during the opener. Even though I don't talk about the openers when it comes to ChocoPro, even though I always applaud to Meishuga and Balanaki when they do it. Normally, because certain times we do get Chi, Koshikawa do it, so that wouldn't count. But however, thank God that Balanaki and May were involved in this one. They announced for the ChocoPro event in the UK that takes place in August 26th at 2 p.m. However, this is a very interesting thing. If you guys know this or not, August 26th is the day before AEW All In. So basically, if they're telling their fans, if you guys are going to planning to go all in, check them out and all this and that. So they said it's going to be that the show has already been sold out around that time, around 1 p.m. by the time this show started. So that's kind of interesting. So good for news for them. And of course, there's going to be the ChocoPro XE. So it looks like they're going to corroborate with the women's promotion Pro Wrestling Eve. So that's a good thing for them to announce. Now, our opening match, we have tag team action. We got Tokiko Kihara and Cherry. They take on Kenoka, who thinks he's May, and Balinaki. So that's kind of interesting how it goes. But I can see the confusion with Cherry and Tokiko, the way they see Oka dressed up as Mei Suruga and all that. But it was a lot of fun, you know. Balinaki's like, okay, we'll see how this one goes. So he knows that this is going to be a little awkward for him, but it did not stop him one way or another. So it's pretty cool that he actually was smart enough to know this is going to be interesting, but it's going to be a lot of fun. But luckily for them, it was, of course, Balinaki who was able to pick up the win when he pinned Kirihara, and it was done deal right from them. Now, our next match, we have singles action. Sayaka taking on Mei Suruga. Now, I knew for a fact that this match was definitely going to go to Mei Suruga because she has far more better experience than Sayaka. Now, don't take anything away from Sayaka. I've seen her, how much she has grown since last year, picking up the slack, and all this, not to mention her and she facing off for the tag team titles. That's something that I think I enjoyed. So I always did knew that Sayaka will grow up out of this one anyway. But I have to say she was very impressive in this match, despite the fact that, May has better experience than her. But not to mention May always play her little devilish scenes with her, as always. But that's who Mei Suruga is. But it was, of course, a pinfall by Mei Suruga to Sayaka to pick up the win. Now, our main event, we have the Egg Tarts, who recently have been teaming up, Chiko Shikawa and our current Super Agent champion, Hagane Shino. So that's kind of interesting. They take on Miya Tsuba and Shota. So that kind of was a lot of interesting things to go on. So I thought this match was a lot of fun, and all this and that. But however, it was Chiko Shikawa that was able to pick up the win when she pinned Miya. That plays out pretty well. Now for our jogging tournament, I thought in my mind that this match was definitely going to be going to the Best Bros as like certain times, but nope. Balinaki didn't even make it to the first round because the first round it's all about the tag partners they had that they normally team up. They faced off each other, but it was Cherry who walked away as the winner. Now, post show, Hagane explained that she would like to proceed for the tag team titles. Now they have fought those titles 3 times and they failed, but however, he played mentor to Chiko Shikawa since they first teamed up. But now that she has grown so much, Hagane is telling her that she needs to start growing up, which of course eventually she has to do that. So we'll see how that plays out for her. Because I agree with Hagane, she has to learn how to grow up. She doesn't need to have him at his side at all times. But he did say that he was willing to put his Super Asia title on the line against her, and that will take place real soon this coming weekend on the 11th of June. So I'll be looking forward to that. So I think that's pretty much it right now with this review. Let's move on to our final New Japan Pro Wrestling with Dominion. All right, New Japan Pro Wrestling, as you know, is that time of year once again with the meaning they return back to Osaka Jo-Hall, which is their annual show they do every year. To me, this is one of those shows that I'll never forget. If you guys remember a couple years back, Kenny actually won the IWGP Heavyweight Championship for the first time against Okada. That was one of the most memorable times for me when I see a Dominion show. However, every Dominion show has its own memorable moments. So I think that's pretty interesting to talk about. So let's see what memorable moments we're definitely going to remember on this particular show. It opened up with the number one contender for the IWGP United States Heavyweight Championship. Now, remember, Kenny Omega is the current champion, and he's also a two-time IWGP United States Heavyweight Champion. So this is between Lance Archer and Will Ospreay. I have to say this is more of the David versus Goliath kind of story as always. Now we know the actual story about David and Goliath, where David was the one who picked up the win. However, the obvious question: how will Will Ospreay try to take out a giant? So, as you know, like the story, we always say that the story is with a little slingshot to the head to the giant to put away Goliath. However, this Goliath, it only took 4 hidden blades to put him away to allow Will Ospreay to win the match. But during the promo, he left a little message to Kenny telling him that he should have killed him when he had the chance. But now that he made his decision when and where, he wants this match to be at Forbidden Door 2 in Kenny's home country in Canada. So it became now Ospreay versus Canada. So that's going to be interesting to say. Even the interview, he tells Kenny Omega he's an asshole. Don Callis, an asshole. Everyone's an asshole in Canada. Well, let's see how the Canadians feel about him when he gets there. Now, our next match, we have a bit of a team war. This is more of a rivalry, as you know. We have LIJs consistent of Titan, Bushi, Shingo, and Naito taking on just 5 guys. We're talking about Doiki, Kanemaru, Taka Michinoku, and Taichi. So I thought this match also kind of tells a different story because keep in mind, both these teams have friends they're going to be supporting at the main event. We're talking about Sonata representing just 5 guys, and of course, the newest member of LIJ, I forgot to mention that, Yota Tsuji. So that kind of sets it in. So we'll get to that in a bit. But however, it was of course now LIJ who they're able to win certain multi-man tag team matches. It was Titan with the Llave Immortal onto Michinoku, and it was done right from there. Now, our first championship match is the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship. Now, keep in mind, Catch 2 requested a rematch for this one after losing it to Jet Setters, Kevin Knight and Kushida. Now, the match was pretty good. It was very, very impressive. However, it was, of course, Catch 2 that were able to regain the tag team titles when they took out Kevin Knight, and boom, right there. However, something interesting has happened. Now, as I said before, I always did consider Dominion one of the most memorable events because of Kenny Omega. But this one is a memorable event that you will never forget. As soon as Catch 2 were celebrating their event, their moment, apparently here comes Clark Connors. And of course, Dan Maloney was like not happy to see him there. Then he said that he's challenging both Akira and TJP for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team titles. But the problem was, we all know this before. What's his name? Taiji Shimori is out due to an injury, and he said he has a partner. But all of a sudden, while TJP and Akira wait for the partner, they were viciously, brutally attacked by Dan Maloney, one of their own. So this was a shocking moment. No one knew this was happening. However, I have to say what Kevin Kelly said was right. Because of Connors and Maloney's savagery fight they had during the best of the Super Juniors, it caught the attention of Geto and of course Finlay. He's looking for savages, looking for killers, and Dan Maloney fits the bill. I will never forget how Gideon Gray even put this on Twitter. It says, "You got to be kidding me!" And of course, the obvious question is, what Will Ospreay say? He hasn't said anything about what happened. He worked real hard with every contact he had to get him to New Japan. But now, that went down the window. But you ask yourselves, why did Dan Maloney turn his back on the United Empire? Simple. He was sick and tired from TJB telling him, you can't smoke, you can't have drink. So he feels, F you, I can do all that with Bullet Club. So who cares? So I think he feels that you're treating him like a kid, and I don't think he wants to be treated like that. So that's probably why he did it, but we'll see what happens down the line. Now, our next match is the IWGP World Television title. Now, this is a rematch between Zack Sabre Jr. and Jeff Cobb. That match ended in a time limit draw, but however, uh, what's his name? Zack Sabre Jr. was able to retain the title because of that. So the only thing is, how much difference is going to be for this one? I have to say, Zack Sabre Jr. took a beating from Jeff Cobb, but somehow, instead of using his usual submission moves, he maneuvered the Tour of the Islands with a crucifix bomb to pin him. That was the most shocking thing I've ever seen. Even Jeff Cobb couldn't believe it that he lost that way. So that was the most interesting thing to happen. So basically, even he said that of course, that he is a big, strong guy, but he does give him props for it. So we'll see what else happens. But as you know, for his record against Jeff Cobb is 3 wins, 0 losses, 1 draw. So that's a really good thing for him. So that's pretty good. Now our next match is the IWGP with the new NJPW Strong Openweight titles on the line. As you know, Aussie Open vacant the titles due to the fact that Mark Davis got injured and he will be out. However, it was originally supposed to be other than Ozzy, the House of Torture, Evil, and Yujiro and Bushimon. However, because of that, Aussie Open withdrawing from this match, Aaron Henare and Great Khan decided that they should be involved in this particular match, regardless how this was from the very beginning. But it did, of course. Bishamon allowed it to happen. But of course, the usual tricks with House of Torture was going to be. Even Show showed up once again to cause more problems to ensure that the House of Torture walks away with the belts, but it did not. However, it was, of course, Yo who came up with the rescue, showing up as a skateboarder, using it to advantage, taking that scumbag Show out. So Yo did his part, but it took only Shoto to put away Yujiro in order to become our brand new IWGP and New Japan Strong Openweight Tag Team Champions. However, as I said before, the minute always will be one of those times where we have memorable moments. Another memorable showed up, apparently a theme song from the Bullet Club, but this time calling it the War Dogs, made their presence, and it turned out to be uh, Alex Coughlin and Gabriel Kidd. I'm like, holy cow. So it looks more like now they're targeting for these tag team titles. So basically, David Finlay has now been making some power moves in order to get to the top. So this is a very interesting thing to develop. Even Gino Gambino talked about this, saying that he knew about it. So that's pretty much it. Now, our next match is the Never Openweight Championship between El Phantasmo and Dave Finlay. Now, Phantasmo, as you know, has been excommunicated from the Bullet Club because of his dislike of Finlay being involved, naming himself as the leader. But now Phantasmo targeted Finlay for his belt. This was a much brutal match, as you couldn't possibly imagine, because Dave Finlay, as you know, changed a lot. He is doing things different than what his father did in the past, but it did put he did put El Phantasmo through a table, and then he applied the Trash Panda to retain the title. So this is a huge disappointment for Phantasmo, even though Gino says he has no friends. But somehow I do believe something's about to change. Now our next match is the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team. No, not Tag Team. The Junior Heavyweight Championship between Master Wato and Hiromu. You know this match is going to be good. We know that Wato is one of the guys who definitely earns the right to become IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion, but Hiromu was just too much. He applied, of course, the Time Bomb too in order to pick up the win and allowing himself to retain it. So, yeah. Now, our next match, this one was delayed due to the fact the Never Openweight six-man tag team champions. Due to Claudio his flight being delayed, they had to move this match around, make some changes. So it's a good thing they did. We have, of course, Shota Umino teaming up with Claudio Castagnoli and Jon Moxley, taking on Tanahashi, Ishii, and Okada. I thought this match was so good because Okada really can't stand the childish of Shota Umino, the way he behaves, the way he's been acting up like a child. He's like, I don't have time for this crap. But it kind of did. And, I did like the end how Umino was trying to pull off the win as much as possible. But however, the Rainmaker was just too much for him that allowed him to pick up the win and retain the titles. But however, it looks more like Blackpool Combat Club had other plans as well. Apparently, Okada received a message from a familiar face from everybody in Japan that knows him very well. We're talking about Bryan Danielson. He called out his shot against Okada. So that's going to be interesting. So now it's been foretold that this is going to take place at Forbidden Door 2. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch. So I think everybody's excited. And of course, Okada accepts the challenge. Now to our main event. This is the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. Now, there's a lot of people that talk about the similarities of this particular storyline. That it's the same kind of similarities with Okada when he came back from excursion and finally decided to make a play for the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. Yota Tsuji, it did the same thing, but in the process, Tsuji is also now is the newest member of LIJ. So it appears that why not? Maybe Naito did have an interest in him. But dude, not Tsuji, I have to say he was like a freaking beast in this match. The way he manhandled Sonata in every possible way. I mean, Sonata did everything. Now he knows the only effective weapon that could tear him apart is the spear. That has been mostly, but I think Sonata tried every possible way to avoid it as much as possible. But however, it only took a deadfall for him to put away Tsuji and give him to retain the title. But however, at the post match, I think Sonata was impressed by him. But however, he told him that you should get more results, and we'll talk about having another possible chance for the belt. And of course, Tsuji gave him a wink because there's no doubt about that that's what he wants. So that's what we're going to be seeing down the line. So I'm looking forward to that. I think that's pretty much it right now, what we have for New Japan. So let's just end it right here and move on with some news updates. Okay, so welcome to our news updates. So this is what we have so far for everyone. Now, recently there has been a lot of criticism with the new gimmick about Lacey Evans in WWE, that she looks more like dressing up like Sergeant Slaughter. Reports came in that Slaughter's daughter is not happy with what they were doing. Certain people talk about something that was true about Lacey Evans that we need to consider. Now, I'm not saying I'm taking sides, but I have to say I do agree with the points. We all can agree about this one, that Lacey Evans have served in our U.S. military, which of course, I commend her for that. But however, we know that Slaughter has never served in our military. So why is people criticizing that? I'm sure that the gimmick looks similar, but we need to ask ourselves, why do we need to take our criticism against Lacey, who we know has served our country, but not Slaughter, who's never served our country? But hopefully that could be solved, but we'll find out soon enough. During an ROH tapings, it was announced that by Tony Khan that they had announced two new members of the board of directors, and that is Stokely Hathaway and Jerry Lynn. So it's a good thing for them to be involved now. We know Jerry Lynn does have history with Ring of Honor. Congratulations. Sareee, formerly known as Sarray, has announced that she now has her sights set for the IWGP Women's Championship, so she will be coming for that belt. But the obvious thing is, will she do exactly what Rossy Gawa said? Attend the show and she'll make and see what happens. So I think that's something that I think many of us are expecting, but we'll see. However, related to Sareee, recently she was involved in a Evolution show. If you guys aren't familiarized with Evolution, this was a project that was started by All Japan Pro Wrestling stars Suwama and Tsuji Ishikawa. Sarray was facing off against one of the girls named Chi Chi. Now, Of course, Sareee won the match because Chi doesn't have any bigger experience of wrestling like Sareee does. But it seems like Chi is the more improved wrestler we have witnessed so far. And Sareee was really impressed by her. So she gave her some good words of comments, and Chi really appreciated. So she may have her on her site. I wouldn't be like maybe teaming up or face each other once again, but who knows? But it seems like things are going well for her. Now, coming from all Fightful Select, some two articles caught my attention. I think this one will be interesting. Okada said this: is there any possible way to have the IWGP six-man tag team championships? I mean, it's true. I mean, the never open weight titles, we know they've been known for being like, with no weight limits. I mean, you can have two juniors in a heavyweight or two heavyweights in a junior, that kind of capacity. So who knows what New Japan could do if there's any possibilities, but we'll find out. But also another article by Fightful Select, Darby Allin said that since he's climbing Mount Everest, he wants to flag an AEW flag on the top of the mountain. That's gonna be good. I can't wait to see that. Now, continue on with more of Spark Joshi Puroresu of America. For the Ignite East, they announced a match for Janai Kai versus Danny Mo. So, pretty interesting. But however, I already got information for the full card of the Ignite West show that's going to take place on the 16th of June. So this is the full card that I do know is going to take place. It's going to be in West Covina, California, which is somewhere in the LA County. We have Saki versus Ram Kaicho, Maki Ito versus Zeta Zhang, Rina Yamashita taking on Vert Vixen, Trish Adora versus Vipers, Miyu Yamashita versus Delilah Doom, Sumi Sakai versus Kid Bandit, and of course Viva Van versus Johnny Robbie. So this is the card for that show for Spark on the 16th of June in West Covina, California. So I think that's it for that. So let's keep moving forward. More interesting names have been announced for the upcoming Tag Festival by Deadlock Pro Wrestling on the 18th of June. This is who they announced: the Workhorsemen, MSP, and Above the Rest. Now, don't know exactly the name of I know Workhorsemen pretty well. We've seen them on AEW and Ring of Honor, but the other two teams, I have seen them before on certain promotions, and so they will be participating in that. Prestige Wrestling has announced for the Black Sunshine event on the 18th of June. We have Sandra Moon taking on Rina Yamashita. It was announced for the All Rise event on the 23rd of July. Robert Martel will be involved. However, there's a stipulation: if he does not win his match, he is out of Prestige Wrestling for good. For the Wrestling Revolver event, Ring of Destiny, on the 17th, Robert Martel will be participating, even though people are calling him a loser. Then there's the world title will be on the line: Macklin versus Christ. Oh yeah, this is good. We have the participants for the G1 Climax. So this is who they announced who's going to be involved in this year's G1. Okada, Naito, Sanada, Ospreay, Tanahashi, Finley, Shota, Shingo, Ishii, Tama Tonga, Tongaloa, Hikuleo, Goto, Yoshihashi, Yano, Kenta, Zack Sabre Jr., Taichi, Eddie Kingston, El Phantasmo, Narita, Evil, Chase, Cobb, Hinare, Kid, Conklin, Haste, Nichols, Suji, and this is the last one that I did not expect: Kaito Kiyomiya from Noah. So that's kind of interesting that he's going to be involved in this. So yeah. What else? Okay, what else? Oh yeah. Finally, this is the last update that I have for everybody. I don't know if you guys ever heard of her from in the Yoshi world, Madeline. This was a very interesting announcement that was made during a Diana show. She announced that she will be leaving the company by the end of this year. The reasons behind that is because she will be moving her base to the Kansai area because of her marriage. So I don't know if she recently got married or because the Japanese wrestlers don't talk much about their personal life, so they keep it quiet all the time. I mean, like we didn't know that Fujimoto was already married as soon as it was announced, and of course her pregnancy was not revealed until it was shown on social media. But yeah, so that's something I did not know. Now, some of you may ask me, where is the Kansai region? Well, I don't know exactly, but I do know the cities that are involved are part of that region: Kobe, Osaka, and Kyoto. So those are the reasons she is. I don't know if she'll be any of those three cities, but that's what it is. But because of this, Madeline did say that she will, as soon as starting next year, she'll be working as a freelancer. Something we have seen with many wrestlers that do that when they leave the company. Some of them decide to just be freelancers for good. So I think that's pretty much it right now with this. So I say it's time to call it a day. Well, I hope everybody enjoys this episode. Coming up, we will continue more with the NWA Night 2 of the Crockett Cup. Can't wait to see who walks out as the winner. There's still some stuff I haven't reviewed yet. Like I said, I'm going to not focus on the recent events from GCW. I will focus on the ones that happen now because I don't want to waste time on that for everyone. So I'll be doing that. Haven't decided which one. There's several events that I haven't reviewed yet. I will get to those soon. Like, of course, the much recent Stardom shows that happened before either Flashing Champions and all that. See what happens. But we'll go from there as soon as possible. But for now, I'll see you guys in the next DWZ time. Same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye. And have a nice day. Bang.